Hi guys, I'm welcome to Premiership Week 12 and we start with tonight's kick-off at 8 o'clock, Norwich versus Watford. Watford, haven't really got their season going so far this season. Norwich, who started off okay. I know they got thrust to Liverpool, but other than that, they started off okay. Kind of dipped a little bit, and I think they actually find themselves in the bottom three as well. So for this game, I'm going to go Norwich 1, Watford 1. On to lunchtime's kick-off tomorrow at 12:30. We have Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Obviously, Chelsea doing really well under Frank Lampard at the moment. Again, slow start, but now they seem to be, kicked up a gear, and they're doing really well now. So Crystal Palace will cause a couple of problems, but I think that Chelsea will see it through. So I'm going to go Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 0. On to the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We have Burnley versus West Ham. Again, this could be quite a tight, tough game. For both sides. So again, I'm going to go for a tight draw. I'm going to go Burnley 1, West Ham 1. We then have Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Again, Newcastle have started, to get a couple of good results. Bournemouth, a good result for them last week, beating Manchester United 1-0. But I'm going to give it to Newcastle, and that's probably the only reason I'm going to give it to Newcastle is because they are the home side. But other than that, they're quite evenly matched, these two, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 1. We then have Southampton versus Everton. Obviously, we all saw the horrible tackle on Gomez last week. No one wants to see a player in that situation. We felt the pain. Absolutely horrible. I was very happy for Everton. I know it was against Tottenham, but put that aside for a minute. I was very, very, very happy for them to have got that equaliser last week. For that tackle, they needed that. And I do think, Southampton have been quite poor this season. I do think that Everton can go here and get a nick 3 points. I'm going to go Southampton 1, Everton 2. And, just to top on that, I hope that Gomez has a very speedy recovery. But I do probably more than likely think that that's his season over now. And he'll probably, with an injury like that, probably wouldn't even come back to maybe this time next year just to kick in a ball. Absolutely horrible tackling. As I say, we wish him all the best. We then do have Tottenham versus Sheffield United. Again, Sheffield United not quite as dominant as they are at home. They've done quite well against the top 6 sides at home this season, but not same can't really be said for the away form. So I'm going to go Tottenham 2, Sheffield United 0. At 5:30, we have Leicester versus Arsenal. Arsenal are absolutely dreadful at the moment. Again, throwing away a lead last week. They threw away a lead in the Europa League on just yesterday. So no, it wasn't yesterday. Sorry, it was Wednesday. We played Wednesday night, and they threw away a lead there. Can't keep hold of leads. Just keep throwing. Being in front all the time and keep letting teams back into it. Hadn't I said that, we shouldn't have really been in front against Wolves last week. Wolves, I think in the end they had like 25, 26 attempts at our goal last week, and we're supposed to be the home side. That's not acceptable. Home or away. Arsenal are supposed to be like a team that's challenging for titles, supposed to be a team that's challenging for the top 4, and you're letting an opposition. I know Wolves are a good side, but you're letting an opposition, have 25 attempts at your goal. It's just not good enough, especially at home as well. I bet you Liverpool and Manchester City don't let. I bet you Manchester City don't let Liverpool have 25 attempts or 26 attempts at their goal on Sunday. And Liverpool's at home. I bet you that don't happen. It's just not acceptable. And again, I think Leicester are going to win this very comfortably. And I do think that if Leicester do win this game on tomorrow, 5:30, I do think that's going to be Unai Emery's last game in charge. During the international break, I do think that we'll find a new manager. Is it going to be Jose Mourinho? I don't know. They're even eyeing up Brendan Rodgers, and of all people, Sam Allardyce as well. I mean, he'd cheer up our defence, but do you really want your football to be that awful to go for Sam Allardyce? Probably not. But yeah, as for the result, Arsenal are going to get thrashed. I can even admit that now. Leicester 3, Arsenal 1. In fact, I'm very, very tempted. I was very, very tempted to go even more, like maybe a 4-5, maybe even 6-0. I can't even see Arsenal maybe even scoring in this game. Absolutely dreadful. On to Sunday's fixtures at 2 o'clock. We have a West Midlands derby with Wolves versus Aston Villa. I'm going to go for a tight draw in this one. Usually are in derbies. I'm going to go Wolves 1, Aston Villa 1. The other 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday is Manchester United versus Brighton, and because it's at home, I'm going to go for Manchester United to win it just about. Probably a penalty, something like that. Manchester United 1, Brighton 0. And then for the big title race game at 4:30, the one we're all looking forward to, I suppose, is Liverpool versus Manchester City. And there'll probably be a few eyebrows raised at me here, but I'm going to go for Manchester City to nick it. I think it's very important for Manchester City to win this game. I think Liverpool are already 6 points clear at the moment, so they don't really want to draw to Liverpool because that keeps it at 6 points. And obviously they definitely don't want to lose, that would make it 9. So I think Pep Guardiola is going to nick a win out of this game. I'm going to go Liverpool 1, Manchester City 2. So that has been my predictions for this weekend, guys, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time as it's an international break. Thank you for watching, guys.